Good day, podcast community. PeteKane here, Podcast Pete and lifestyle coach. And we have a special podcast today. I want you to shut out your tabs. Don't multitasking, because that will give you kind of that brain needs to be focused at times. So, Sarah Jo, tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and then we'll get into the podcast.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Jo. Just Sarah, really. Joe's my middle name.
Okay.
That's okay, though. Um, so, me, I guess I'm an adventurer. I love spiritual things. I'm a mom, a wife. I've got two amazing boys. I love watching them find their journey and go through their journey. They
Mm-hmm.
do some pretty cool things. I love being on the water, being in the sunshine. We do a lot of camping and wakeboarding and surfing, and I still jump off of cliffs and rope swing and do all of those kinds of things too. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. I think life's exciting, but you have to
Mhm.
be intentional about it. So,
Yeah.
did you grow up with that adventure gene in you? Like, how did you
Yeah.
all of a sudden jump off cliffs and four wheelers and all the things that a lot of us want to do, but sometimes we don't?
I guess I was really adventurous as a kid. I remember like a story that my mom tells when we were living up in the mountains. And stuff. And she was like, all of a sudden you just were gone. And I was down like by the pig pen. And, that's a little bit dangerous to go visit a pig pen when you're about one and a half
Mhm.
and stuff. And then she always talks about like, I always climbed all the cabinets and stuff in the house. She couldn't keep me still and things like that. So maybe in my younger years it was adventure, but it was those kinds of adventures. It wasn't until I got married that I really got into like the wakeboarding and surfing. My husband grew up doing things like that. His
Mhm.
family was part of a ski club that did all of the pyramids and stuff like that. And I actually got to do that as well, which was fun. A little sketchy being up on top of people while they're on skis and stuff, but it was still fun.
That is awesome. I
Yeah.
There's a horse. They do special needs for kids, and they have a farm here. And when I
Hmm.
took my grandkids for the first time, there was a lady that had a farm in South Georgia, and she
Yeah.
had all the animals there. And there's this little boy, he couldn't have been more than like 6 or 7, and he had a chicken, and he was carrying that chicken. He had a smile from ear to ear, and he was
Nice.
loving it. And I think a lot
Oh.
of people don't get a chance to be outdoors with animals. What do you think? What have you seen when people get exposed to the outdoors? Like you're in Montana, and you're more in an area where you have that at your footstep, at your doorstep.
Yeah, definitely. So it seems when I guess there's a big influx of new people moving in here, whether it's California and Florida and Washington, like wherever and
Hmm.
stuff. And it seems like they're kind of in awe of it. They're not quite sure where to go or what they can do out in nature. But once I see people that like come and visit us actually go experience that, there's a lot of wonder in their eyes, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Just in awe of the calm and the you don't necessarily need to do anything. You can just hang out and enjoy the space and the nature that's around you. And you get to see great things, whether it's eagles in the sky or hawks. And
Hmm.
you can go fishing wherever you want. You can take a hike. Hopefully, you don't run into a bear. Take bear spray with you. But it's pretty great to see people experience the outdoors like that.
Yeah.
I kind of take it for granted now that you're asking me the question, and I'll have to pay attention to that.
Yeah, we had a person that spoke at our Rotary, and she was talking about, because the kids that she supports have had a difficult, through foster care and through their journey, have struggled, but like 70% had never really experienced the outdoors. Like Like,
Yeah.
they just they're around farm animals occasionally, and she sees them as they talk about this, that they don't have that connection with nature. What do
Yeah.
you think in your journey? Because yes, if we're around it all the time, we don't appreciate it as much. What do you appreciate in Montana, in living in that area, that you could share with our viewers?
The I do appreciate the nature quite a bit. The
Hmm.
snow, not so much, and we're kind of in the winter. That is the longest season that we have. But the summertime here is fantastic. It's kind of a dry heat, 90s, upper 90s, but it's not too intense like some places, and so it's perfect. And I love when we go to the lake and I get to just sit by the water, or like I said before, wakeboard and surf and jump off cliffs and rope swing and watch my kids do all of those things. I enjoy that. So I do really appreciate the outdoors, just not when
Hmm.
it's snowing outside.
Yeah. We got on the East Coast, we've got not snow in Atlanta, but my brother's just a bit north, close to Charlotte, and they got
Yeah.
more snow than they've ever gotten in like 25 years.
Yeah.
So they got exposed to a snowfall that you get on a regular basis. What do you think going I want to touch on your path in energy and mindset, working with
Mhm.
people. When did you start leaning into that and doing it as a profession?
So I started that adventure roughly, it's a little over 10 years ago. Started
Hmm.
working with a life coach, and started out with the mindfulness and the emotional intelligence and all of those kinds of things. And the journey kind of just, it's like one after another, all of these opportunities to take it to the next level kept just being put in front of me.
Hmm.
And it it was great. And of course, part of me was, by profession, I'm a nurse. And so once all this stuff started kind of showing up, I was like, well, do I really do this? I'm already doing this over here. So a little bit of a conflict for a while, but it just kept coming in front of me. And I was really excited to do it. It was a different way for people to feel better,
Hmm.
and different opportunities where, Western medicine has its place, but people can do so many things for themselves. And I
Hmm.
can't stress that enough. You have so much more control than maybe somebody has ever told you about your health and wellness and what you can do for it. So,
Hmm.
yeah, just kept kind of going down the path, and it eventually led into energy healing, which is also backed up by more psychological process work that people do. So, what's behind the energy that's stuck in your body? What's holding it there, because that stuck energy is typically what leads to illness and disease and things like that. And if we can get underneath of it and look at what you believe and the images that you have about yourself and other people, some really big shifts start to happen for people, and they start to feel better. Long-standing illnesses improve. Just it's pretty fantastic. And when I think back about being a nurse, I didn't know that that was a possibility. That was never something I grew up knowing.
Hmm.
So it feels really amazing to take it as far as I've taken it. And I'm going to keep continuing the path because there's always more, right?
We're never done, but I have a friend here. She moved from Montana to
Oh,
Atlanta
nice.
to be closer to her daughter, and she was a
Where's he
nurse.
from?
I'm trying. I want to say, well, I don't know for sure. It's either Butte or another city,
Okay.
but she
Okay.
just moved here, so she didn't know. She doesn't know many people here. Her
Yeah.
daughter's going to school up the road at Georgia, but
Okay.
she has a background in nursing. I think
Hmm.
30 years, and now
Nice.
she's holistic brain and gut and just the whole holistic approach to
Hmm.
helping people with that. What do you think your career or your journey as a nurse, how did it prepare you for what you're doing today?
Well, the initial caring for people, right? The what I've always had that passion. How can I help people? I'm
Hmm.
very empathetic and those kinds of things too. And I just want to help people feel better and now help them feel better and be a better them, not better them. Step into who they actually are. That's maybe a better way to say that. And I think the nursing also prepared me to understand the Western medicine and that it has its place and its time. I mean, if you break your leg, please go get that fixed. You know what I mean? And then after that, there's so many holistic things that you can do to help that heal faster. And so it's kind of like it was part of the foundation for where I was going, an
Hmm.
understanding of the entire process and more understanding for all of the options that people have or that you can tell them that they have.
Hmm. Yes. What do you think? Because I was addicted to a drug. It was a legal drug, but it was speed, Adderall. And I did
Oh,
it most of my whole life. And it wasn't until I had a stroke that I looked at things a little bit differently. And I
mhm.
thought I was needing it. And that was the first pill I took, 5 o'clock in the morning. But here's what
Yeah,
I discovered. I discovered that when I when I got off of it, it took me about months to get my brain even
yeah.
healed. And I
Mhm.
leaned into meditation, journaling, healthy eating, all the things to take care of
Nice.
myself. I had no social media, less sugar,
Yeah,
all the things that I thought I needed to repair my brain. My question is like,
yeah.
you have practices like journaling, meditation, anything that you could share with our viewers that have served you in your journey in the space that you're in.
Definitely. So what helped me? That's what you're
Yes. Hmm.
that I use
Yeah.
personally.
What do you
Yeah.
use to kind of to lean into that holistic living that you're a part of? Do you have
Yeah.
anything you could share with our viewers?
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely work on the mindfulness and those kinds of things so the brain doesn't go in those loop-de-loops that it likes to sometimes. And that stuff, definitely meditate and things like that. Journaling, I'm not so much a journaler. I'm much more of a let's go just kind of stand in the sunshine. And if there's
Mhm.
something that I need to figure out or consider and work through, be outside in nature and use that. And then there's also all of the energy practices that I use. Big fan of having people ground and stay here. A fair amount of people like to uh, not be in their body very
Mhm.
solidly anyway. And if you can stay down and use the energy that's here, it really kind of resets a lot of your system. Um, I'm trying to think of what else I use. Those are the big ones. Of course,
Mhm.
drink pretty much only water and things like that. I there's definitely the food aspect. Try to eat pretty healthily. Won't tell you I don't go have a cheeseburger or anything like that, but for the most
Mhm.
part, I try to keep it pretty as natural as I can. Yeah.
Do you feel that with your boys, they have taken on some of the things that you have, experienced, or has it been tougher for them to see mom going in this direction, and there's a little bit of resistance to it?
You know,
What did
yeah. So, um, I guess you have to have a little bit of the backstory. So if I started 10 years ago, that puts my kids roughly late elementary, junior high-ish, right? And
you?
so they had an experience of parenting that was more along the lines of you do it my way. You know what I mean? Like that's how it's going to happen. And then we started to make shifts in a different direction. And so I think there was a little bit of just confusion there and what is okay and isn't okay. But they're doing great with it now. And I love hearing them talk to their friends and sharing the things that they've heard me talk about or say. And they've really leaned into, I'm behind you, whatever your journey is.
Hmm.
We just have this open conversation, and I love bouncing my, what I'm working on off of them to get as many perspectives as I possibly can. There's nothing more fantastic than a young brain that has all of these new ideas and isn't solidified in their beliefs,
Hmm.
and they offer so much new perspective, new young perspective for someone to consider. So they it was a little bit challenging as at times, but like I said, I think it was more the way it was before and getting used to a different approach to that, to,
Hmm.
to raising them. So
Yeah, it's different. We may be, I don't know how close in age, but growing up today is different than it was 25 years ago. The
definitely.
technology, the screen time, how do they balance screen time and really connecting with nature and just having that separation, which is so important? Do you
Yeah.
have, I mean, any advice you could share with our viewers about how you're doing it?
Well, my kids are 19 and 23 at this point, so they kind of do their own thing. But I was very lucky that with the age that they are, I didn't let them have a cell phone until like fifth grade. And it wasn't that they could even have it. It was more, this is a phone, and if you're going to go stay at a friend's house, you can take it with you. And back then, there wasn't, I mean, you could do things on it, but not a ton. And it was just one of those generic ones. It wasn't anything crazy. So they didn't grow up with it their entire lives anyway. And so now if we go camping and boating, we're gone for 3 days, 2 nights, and their phones, they don't even really get them out unless they want to turn some music on or something on a stereo or whatever. But they're
Hmm.
actually really good at it, and I didn't have to do much to regulate any of that for them. And it might just be their ages and what I allowed early on, if that helps anybody. There wasn't a lot of screen time until they were a little bit older. And
Hmm.
then it was moderated a, a little bit, you know what I mean? But I wanted them to learn how to manage it as well.
Hmm.
And so it ended up being more conversations revolving around um, like if they were in front of a screen too much playing a video game. I just remember talking to my both of them, but my youngest son, he'd be like, man, I just don't feel good. And I'm like, what do you think that's about? He'd be like, well, I've been in my room playing a video game with so and so for 3 hours. And it's like, oh, okay, do you think that's contributing? So it started to be more conversations like that where I kind
Hmm.
of led them to the answer, but wanted them to state it instead of me
Hmm.
saying stop. Want them to know that what they're doing is making them feel a certain way, and they're the ones that are in control of how to manage that, not me.
Hmm. That's so good.
Does that make
Yes,
sense?
absolutely.
I hope.
Yes. I've always heard, and I try to practice as much as possible, that people have to draw their own conclusion, that they
Yeah.
have to, you can lay out the framework, but they have to lean
Mhm.
into what their conclusion is, because
Yes.
if you don't, then, you're not teaching them really to be independent and think on their own and process
Yeah.
all the things that you have to do when you're growing up, because our brains don't fully develop, I heard, till 26. So, you know, they're just
Yep.
in a stage where they're absorbing so much and figuring out so much. If you had to
Yeah.
kind of, at this age, you're talking to a younger mom, let's say 20, what would you tell your younger mom that you've learned in the journey that you are now that you could help just advise that younger mom about raising boys?
Okay. So whenever they do something, it may not like that you think is wrong or you think that they shouldn't do, I would really advise you to get curious and
Hmm.
ask them a lot of questions.
Mm.
Try just look towards understanding their motives and make it more of a conversation about what they could do next time. Empower them with different choices
Mm-hmm.
and a conversation around consequences that will happen, not necessarily from you. It's kind of like if your kids are going to go out and start driving and they're, being a little bit reckless. It's like sit down and talk to them about what's going on, and then just inform them of the consequences so that they're prepared. And if it does happen, then you kind of just let the consequences roll out, but keep yourself open to the conversations and the support and standing behind them even if they've made a mistake. That would be my advice. It empowers them to learn how to make better choices and
Mm-hmm.
still go after everything that they love, no
Mm.
matter what that is. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's so good. How
Yeah.
did you encourage or expose, because they have to find their own, what they enjoy, what they're passionate about, what they really like. How have you helped them to kind of, prepare them? Because, as young adults, they're going to be in a position they have to find their way. What did you do that helped them to move in that direction?
I've always encouraged them to go after whatever it is that they want, even if it's something that we aren't super into. My oldest was into football for a while, and I don't really do football, and neither does my husband. But if that's your jam, go for it. Um, and then the rest of it, they mostly, of course, enjoy all the outdoor stuff that we do. So a lot of their hobbies and activities go around those kinds of things. And then I
Mm-hmm.
also try to lead by example. I'm going down my path and I'm going to go after it with everything that I have in me. And I'm going to love and enjoy it. And so there's the example there too. No matter what anybody else thinks, this is who I am and this is who I'm going to be and this is my path, and need to respect myself enough to stay down it no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Does that?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. What do you think as
Yeah.
into energy and healing? What's a misconception that people have?
Hmm.
Sometimes when you hear that, you have this Eastern, like you have a mindset that may not be accurate. What would you say the misconception out there that you could just share with our viewers?
There's a lot of misconceptions. I'm trying to come up with one like that I can use for an example. Um, there's a misconception that it's all just, I guess, a really big one, woo woo stuff. Like it doesn't really do anything and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't help. That's probably the biggest one, I guess, now that I'm really considering that. Um, and I guess I'm not sure how to come at that necessarily. I guess I've experienced that that is not true.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that science is starting to back all of that up, that
Yep.
everything is energy and everything vibrates, and there's photographs that people take of auras and the energy that surrounds us.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we don't have all the scientific evidence, it's all leaning that way. So I guess I encourage people to just stay open. And if you feel called to work with energy, just investigate it. You might be surprised what you actually find out about it and how supportive of your entire body and system
Mm-hmm.
it can be. And if you find the right healer, they're going to encourage you to step up and be everything that you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
For me, when I'm working with clients, they're always like, well, what is it that you saw, or what is it that you did, or what is it that I should do? And I always look at them and I'm like, I cannot tell you any of those things. And I can tell you what I saw, but that's not what's important. It's your experience. It's the different choices that you maybe need to make to help yourself feel better.
Mm-hmm.
So I always try to really encourage them that there's so much power in every single choice that they make,
Mm-hmm.
and the energy is going to help. We're going to shift and move it so that you can maybe experience a different path and make a different choice for yourself, but it will always be your choice.
Mm. That's so good. What does Sarah do to generate energy and keep your energy at a high level?
Yeah. So I'm pulling energy from the earth. I like to, there's a grounding practice that happens. And then
Mm-hmm.
I spin each one of the chakras that are in the body. And then the energy that is coming from the universe, divine, God, however you see that higher power for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pulling energy from both places, right? And that vitalizes my system. During a healing, though, I want to take both of them and bridge it through my heart so that it comes out my hands. I don't want anybody to have my energy. I don't want their energy. I want them to have the energy that surrounds us, revitalize them. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make sense? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I run around all day long, and I try to, as often as I can, check and make sure that I'm grounded and that I'm running that energy the way that I should be. Because otherwise, I don't know, you can experience headaches or migraines, or I mean, there's plenty of different things that happen if you if you're not pulling energy the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I
that's so
pull
good.
full of
What do you
it.
think? Yeah, no, I totally, I think for over the last 4 years, I've been more in touch with that journey than I was previous. But
Yeah.
when it comes to like our sleep patterns and how we prepare ourselves for sleep,
Hmm.
have things that you do on a regular basis to revitalize and get the quality sleep that you need?
Sleep has never been a problem for me. I could sleep for 10 hours straight and be just fine. And I think that might just be the energy that I always had, that adventurous, you know
Hmm.
what I mean, running around doing things. So I guess I can't say specifically for me anyway that I use anything. If anybody has issues with sleep, you should ground yourself before you go to bed, and then shut off all your electronics and everything like that. And then I would just lay down and spend some time just kind of scanning through your body
Hmm.
and relax. Use some breath work and kind of calm your nervous system down so that it can unplug and unwind before you go to sleep. And if
Hmm.
you find yourself waking up super early, you can do that exact same thing. In fact, anytime, even if you have a good sleep, you should wake up and kind of do the exact same thing. Make sure that you're grounded, do some breath work, check in with your body, scan it, see if there's anything going on, and just ask yourself some questions about what it is that you specifically need to maybe
Hmm.
do differently. Are you drinking too much caffeine? I'm trying to think of some other things that are not helpful for sleep. How late do you eat before you go to bed? Just
Hmm.
things like that. And everybody's different. So I can't give a specific remedy. It's more about you investigating you
Hmm.
and asking yourself questions about what would support you.
That's so good. Yeah, no, I agree. When you say the word grounded, I mean,
Yeah.
I know that there's a grounding outside, in your bare feet in the grass.
Yeah.
When you're inside and it's cold, how do you ground yourself to get, because you're
So
not
there
going barefoot in the snow, I don't think. Do you?
No. You can ground yourself anywhere at any time, and any of it, right? And yes, you can envision that there's like the roots growing down from your feet into the center of the earth. You want to go to the center of the earth. Are you familiar with the root chakra?
No, I'm not. Share.
Okay.
Please
So
share.
yeah, so you have a root chakra. It's lower, it's the lowest one. It's between your knees. It's big and it's red, right? And so when I'm going to ground throughout the day, I envision it. It's big, it's red, it spins clockwise, but you have to imagine that you're down at your feet looking up at it. Does that make sense? Like you're outside of yourself, envisioning it spinning clockwise. It's
Mm-hmm.
big, it's red. Some people need help with the frequency of it. So if you imagine something red, whether you want to envision a red apple, I use like the molten lava core of the earth to get there for me, but you can use whatever you want. So spin it, make it as big as you possibly can, and you want to send it all the way down into the center of the earth and practice that for a while. If you have any issues with it, you can stand up and do figure eights with your hips. You can dance. You can just start moving yourself and keep the tension in the lower half of your body. You want to loosen that up. So if you got to shake around, sometimes I just kind of wiggle my feet or, shake them super quick.
Mm-hmm.
But if people need that, if you want to ground, that is the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Envision that root chakra spinning big and red and put it down into the center of the earth, and then grow roots from your feet too, and keep yourself connected. You can also let energy go down in there, and then you can also bring that energy back up. Use it both ways. You want to let go of the things that no longer serve you, and you want to bring up clean, clear energy from the earth.
Is there
And
something
it
I love
revitalizes you,
red?
and it
It's
helps with your nervous system, headaches, all kinds of things. So
yeah. There's so much that
you're
when
breaking
you're
up. Sorry.
okay. Can you hear me now? I think you're
Yeah.
coming.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've always liked red, and as a color, I wear red all the time. Is there something significant about that red that
Yeah.
you just described? The red.
It's just that is the color of the chakra, right? And so each color has a frequency of energy that you
Okay.
need, right? And so if we're talking about the root chakra, it's red. The root chakra is about safety, security. Is it okay to be here and do what I'm doing? It's it's your safety and your security for the most part.
Okay.
So
So
yeah, it's a
would I?
powerful color.
It's okay. Does it? Because I wear red all the time. And I have two different color shoes. One's
That's great.
red, one's blue. But is there
Nice.
and I had some significance to why I did it years ago. But is that a
Yeah.
color that is better than other colors? I mean,
Nope.
no. Okay. It's what you make.
It just has a different meaning when you're talking about the energy system. Each of the
Okay.
chakras have a different color as you go up. And as you
Okay.
go up, the frequency gets higher with each color.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
they all have different meanings,
Yeah.
right? I guess if you want an example, like the next one up is your sacral, and that sits in your lower belly, and it's orange, right? And this guy is more about your feelings about yourself, the quantity, the quality, you know what I mean? And so if you're going to do orange, you can spin this one the same way that you did the root chakra,
Mm-hmm.
but the frequency is different and it's getting higher. The orange is a higher frequency than the red is.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love these kind of topics. The whole more.
I'm glad. Me too, because it's
Yeah,
mine.
I know. And so the beauty of, because I had a stroke, it'll be 4 years tomorrow. And so I've had to rewire my brain and do all the holistic things
Yeah,
that kind of honor the recovery. But I'm
definitely.
always curious about what else can I do to lean into letting the body do its, because it's amazing what the body
Yeah.
can do. And we're
Yes.
sometimes so busy, we don't take the time to see what
Mhm.
the body. Now, I had 49 days after my stroke to think about things. So I had more time than I ever had in my life to slow down, which was tended to
Yeah.
be really good to slow down, because,
Yes.
if we say on that busy bus, we
Mhm.
don't, we're just reacting to things, and we miss so much of what
Yes.
can happen. So I
Yeah.
want to be respectful of your time. How can people get a hold of you, Sarah?
Yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, the best option is you can just either text or call me at
Okay,
406 551 0605.
awesome.
That is the
Thank you.
best way.
I always want to encourage my viewers, share this with people that they think can benefit from what we just discussed and talked about. Because,
Yeah.
we're talking to somebody that has spent 10 years of
Mhm.
just working in a specific area. There's so much to learn from somebody that has been on that journey. So thank you so much. What would be
Yes.
the one thing you would want our viewers to take home from our time on this podcast?
Ooh, there's a lot of things. Sorry. Never forget that everything is a choice. It's your choice. Nobody else can make it for you. You have a lot of power, and that power lies in the choice that you're going to make.
Hmm.
Make the one that is correct for you and honor it.
Wow, that was so good. Sarah, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
with us in our community. It was a real treat for us to have you on. So thank you so much, and I appreciate you very much.
You